Okay, we're going to put a little foundation in the left leg here and see what that's going to look like. Well, the legs are intimidating. And so, okay, let's do something a little more simple. Let's weld a scale on, or a fin on. And I've run out of fins, so it's time to make some more. And I'm using that one piece as my master. And then we just go over and chip away at the sheet metal until it's what we want. And as you saw before, I put it on the anvil and just beat the hell out of it until it submits, just getting some texture into the surface. Back and forth, flatten it, make it round, flatten it, make it round. And here we are at normal speed. How slow this process is, but I'm having fun. What the hell? All right, I did 4 of them. Now we put them in the mold that I made, just barely hashed together, and just to get a general shape about the same shape, and it just kind of squeezes them down. All right, now let's put the 2 sides together and torch one end of it just so it holds. And I just have them as a set. And then we're just using the old method of oxyacetylene, mostly because I have a real hard time with the TIG. Now I did the bottoms, but it turns out that it doesn't allow it to flex, so I had to split the bottoms and open them back up later, as you will see. And in a sense, gas welding is TIG welding. It's just that we're using gas, and for some reason it's a little less finicky. Mostly because we're using gas, not electricity. Electricity, you have to have a specific distance. All right, well, now I'm just squeezing the panels in the vise until they come together, and then just throw a little tack on them and see if that's going to work. Yeah, there we go. So it's just a matter of fiddling around until the sides come together, and then I can throw a quick tack on it and it will stay together. So later on I can come in and weld. Now that the seams are close together, I can just go in and weld the entire seam up. And not only does it make it strong, but it also kind of gives it a ragged scale-like look. All right, well, we're back to cutting the 2-inch tube that I bent into that 4-foot circle. Get some more shielding pieces together here. Here's one that I rolled into a circle, but it went askew early on, and I could not get that thing to straighten out. So I just figured I'd just let it spiral like that. And, once I cut it into little pieces, it's not going to show a bit. All right, we got them all cut. Now I'm just cleaning off the grease. And the factory coats them with this thin layer of grease. And it's not hard to get off. It's just a pain in the ass to get off. But, it's part of the process. Because I couldn't get an accurate cut with most of those pieces, I had to go back and recut an angle. And you can see I'm kind of starting in on that angle right now. And just a quick tack on each one of them out on the face so that I can open or close it as needed. And for those who are freaking out because I don't have a mask on, trust me, I've closed my eyes to do that one tack. And here's a shot of me recutting the ends so that they have a nice pointed surface. And this particular one I had to go back 4 or 5 times and recut it in order to get the angle right. Pretty much all of them I had to recut twice or 3 times. But this one was particularly difficult. The basic frame made out of 1/4-inch steel got a little tweaked when I moved it around, so that particular front edge line got bent. So what I'm doing now is cutting out the old line and reestablishing a new so that I can follow it down with these ribs. Let's get a good solid weld in there and we'll be set to start putting the ribs in. As you may have noticed, a lot of standing back and getting different perspectives, trying to figure out where the lines should be, where each component should be, and what it's going to look like in the end. All right, well, those last two ribs are not going to work, so we're just going to cut them out. They dropped in too close, and as you can see, they were not quite what I wanted. And even this doesn't really work, but for now, we're doing it. And then stepping back and looking at it and going, yeah, that's not right either. So let's take that out too. I must have messed with this for an hour trying to figure out how to get past this one little glitch. All right, we're just going to take both of them out. After an hour or so of messing around with this, I finally got frustrated and said, screw it, I'm not doing this right now, let's do something else. And that is going to happen next week or so. See you then.